Yep, it's here, folks. It's here. I'm gonna be doing my year-end list on the top 15 worst albums of 2018. Yeah, 2018 has a lot of great albums, but also a lot of shitty albums, and I'm gonna be talking about them. Yeah, more rants. I see. More rants. Let's start off with the dishonorable mentions first. We have a Drake Scorpion. I have to put it in the dishonorable mentions because it got nominated by the Grammys apparently. Really? Drake Scorpion, 1.5 hour of drab, boring rap songs that doesn't really have a strong beat or hook or anything. Just a couple of hits and that's it. It's really underwhelming. And Laurie Anderson and the Kronos Quartet, Landfall. And it's basically this anti-Trump sort of political classical music album, modern classical. It's kind of pretentious. I mean, okay, look, you have your political opinions, it's fine. But we also have Russ with Zoo. Russ takes a huge fat L once again, because his attitude on this album is just so intolerable. He's such a narcissist. He's so egotistic. He's always like, oh look, I'm vibing on another wavelength. I'm in a higher level than you. No, you're not, Russ. Take an L. And then we also have a Ministry with AmeriKKKant. To express more hatred towards USA, they're gonna release one of the blandest math rock album of the decade and easily the worst math rock album of the year. And yeah, it's the worst album in their discography as well. But what's really, really bad is in the top 15 worst albums of the year list. At number 15, I have to give it to Lil Baby and Gunna with Drip Harder. So, Future and Young Thug made a collab album in I think it's Quality Control, right? And it had received some positive reviews. So Quality Control wanted to do it again, make a sequel, and they basically put Lil Baby and Gunna together for Drip Harder. And Lil Baby and Gunna are two of the most uninspired, bland, boring, and mundane rappers out there right now, and you put them two together, it's only making it worse. And the beats and the instrumentals on this thing are super cheap, super cliche, super trite. It's like they're mixed and mastered in like a day or something. It's really bad. It's really, really bad. And yeah, the album overall is just so unoriginal. It's just so uncreative. It's just so uninspired. It's the kind of album that you would sleep on. And at number 14, ironically, I have to give it to 15. Mixtape by Bhad Bhabie. It's called 15 because she's 15 years old. Wow. Look, first of all, Bhad Bhabie, aka Danielle Bergoli, she's a meme. She's the Cash Me Outside girl. I've made a very long-winded, in-depth review on her new mixtape, and you should definitely go watch it. Look, she's just a meme. And she got famous for disrespecting her mother and for disrespecting everyone in the world. She doesn't even know division, okay? She's really that undereducated. And, yeah, this mixtape, really? She can't sing well, she can't rap well, and she's going through puberty. Her voice cracks multiple times on the mixtape. It's so amateurish. And even though it's just a meme mixtape, it's just a meme. She got signed a record label. Really? Is she really that talented? Yeah, the beats, the instrumentals, and the flow on the mixtape, they are so cliche, they are so trite and unoriginal, and they are basically ripoffs of every single modern rapper that Bhad Bhabie admires. I don't know. At number 13, I have to give it to 6ix9ine with Day 69. Easily the most hated celebrity of the year. 6ix9ine is also one of the dumbest artists I've ever came across in the entire world. And he's behind bars now, so It's a relief. It's a relief. And this mixtape here sucks ass because all of the songs here sound dumb. They are dumbed down. The lyrics totally makes no sense. All 6ix9ine is doing is rapping about pussy and money, but with the dumbest lyrics ever, like kaka kuku kiki bippy papa boo boo. You know, it's like he's a baby or something. And and he screams for all of the songs on the mixtape. And it's so unpleasant. It's so annoying. It's so redundant. I don't want to listen to his voice ever again. But it gets even worse. Can you believe it? At number 12, I'm giving it to Justin Timberlake with Man of the Woods, a shit buffet. Because what Justin Timberlake essentially is trying to do on this album is fusing genres of electronic, pop, rock, country, and folk together into one big mess. Now, I'm not against musical genre fusing. I mean, Gorillaz did it, and Demon Days is an amazing album. Ween did it, and Chocolate and Cheese is an amazing album. But the instrumentals here are ridiculous. They are really, really ugly and messy and choppy. The production of this thing is, for some reason, really bad, even though Pharrell Williams is producing, and Pharrell Williams is an experienced producer. The production is still very bad. The mixing is still very messy. And the lyrics are corny and cheesy as fuck. And most of the songs here sound cringy. Like tracks like Filthy or Supplies. I got supply, eyes. It's so bad. This album is literally a buffet of shit. And then we have number 11 with Tory Lanez, Memories Don't Lie, because it is yet another really uninspired, really unoriginal, really boring, drab, mundane, bland rap sung album with auto-tune slapped on top. And the reason why I'm placing this higher than Lil Baby and Gunna's Drip Harder, it's because the production is even more hideous on this album, and Tory Lanez sounds more uninspired and bored than ever. And most of the songs here are just plain forgettable. They are not memorable at all. But in the top 10, the albums are even worse. Even worse. Number 10, I have to give it to Fall Out Boy with MANIA. Mania. Yes, this album sucks. Fall Out Boy is back, and yet they had put out some of the worst pop rock songs I've heard all year. With these super overblown, super compressed, auto-tune slapped on top, overly produced pop rock songs. Young and Menace sounds like torture with the chipmunk vocals and the super loud and distorted electronic bits. Now, again, I'm not against pop rock mixing together. Everything did it, and it's fantastic. But the way they approached it, the way Fall Out Boy approached it on this album is just so lowest common denominator, so dumbed down, and the lyrics of this thing. Can we just talk about the lyrics on this album? They are so poorly written, cheesy, corny, and there are wordplay attempts in the lyrics, but they totally fall flat because they don't work at all. At number 9, yet another rock album, Godsmack, When Legends Rise. Oh gosh, Godsmack. Pretty much all the songs they're putting on this album are basically rock songs, but the most dumb rock songs I've heard. It's like rock songs, but they are so overdramatic, so overblown, and they are basically trying to appeal to the mass audience. So they put these really crappy millennial whoops. They force them into their songs, and they make it sound like they're so cool. And it's like, when legends rise, whoa. It's cringy, okay? It's cringy, and you can stop it, Godsmack. At number 8, I have to give it to Kyoto by Tyga. I had reviewed this album earlier in the year, and quite a number of people didn't like my review of it. But seriously, it's so bad. It's so bad. Tyga, again, the same for a lot of rappers right now, like Lil Baby and Gunna and Tory Lanez and Bladee and Jaden Smith and Lil Yachty and Lil Xan and Nav. They are all so uninspired and bland, and they sound like they have no idea what the hell they're doing. And same for Tyga here. I mean, yeah, most of the songs on this track list are tone deaf. I mean, there are songs in the track list where the instrumentals and the beats are passable, I guess. Some only, a little portion only. But the real reason why I hate this album so much is because of the auto-tune. This super thick auto-tune slapped on top of every verse and chorus that Tyga spits. It's too much to handle, okay? And the production is really bad. They are mixed really poorly, and so the vocals are super compressed, and it's just too much to handle. It's ridiculous. It sounds ridiculous. And at number 7, I'm gonna give it to the unbearable 30 Seconds to Mars, America. Look, I know the USA is not in a great shape right now, but do you really have to express your hate towards the USA? I fucking hate USA with a stupid pop rock album that sounds like every other pop rock album except it's watered down like 10 times. Look, again, I like Jared Leto. He's an amazing actor, but not an amazing musician at all. This album totally flops. All the tracks here are unbearable. And that A$AP Rocky track totally sucks. Yeah, it's like 30 Seconds to Mars, copied from all the crappy pop rock bands right now and mixed them all together into one album. And all the songs here are either super uninspired, unoriginal, or they are plain corny and overly dramatic. The end result is this trashy mess of a forgettable album that I'm sure by the end of this year, no one would remember this album. And at number 6, Reckless, Nav. Another super drab and boring rapper. And what's really bugging me about this album is his performance, his delivery. He has this really nasal voice. It's like he's always rapping like this. I don't know why, but it's so redundant. It's so annoying, and it's in a lot of ways it's even worse than albums like Kyoto and Drip Harder and Day 69 and Memories Don't Lie. It's even worse because from this album on that I'm gonna mention in the video, the instrumentals are just so lowest common denominator, so lazily mixed and so lazily written, and the lyrics don't even talk about them. Don't even start on them. I'm just... Nav? Really? Nav? Reckless? But then we end up with the top 5. There are some switches and swapping actions taking place because I need to carefully place the top 5 worst albums of the year. So, some albums grew on me a little bit, very, very tad bit, and some albums aged really poorly, aged like bread, aged like yogurt. And, at number 5, I'm giving it to Bladee with Red Light. And I know a lot of people hate me for putting this on the list, but seriously, not only are the beats and the instrumentals here are really uninspired and bland, I mean, of course there is a futuristic edge to them, which makes it sound a little pleasant at some moments, I guess. I guess that's the selling point. But it's really Blade's performance here that really got me on my nerves. He sounds totally brain dead, and he keeps on cracking his voice for no good reason, and it sounds totally unpleasant, and the auto-tune on this thing just makes him sound even more robotic, even more dead. The entire album is basically a barren wasteland. There's not a single track that I enjoy. Not a single track. There's only one thing that I could compliment the album for, and that's the futuristic beats. But it only applies to like a couple of tracks, and again, the performance totally ruins the entire album for me, and it's unbearable. It's unbearable. And at number 4, the worst pop album of the year, Imagine Dragons, Origins. Yes, it's pop. It's not rock. It's pop. And it's easily the most hideous and ridiculous and stupid pop rock album of the year. I've also done a review on this album. Check it out. Wow. Wow, where do I even start? I mean, there are good songs here, like Natural. And I kind of like Bullet in a Gun. I think it's not a bad track. But other than that, all the tracks here are either super overblown, overly dramatic, piano to fortissimo, and also very corny, bland, forgettable love songs. Take this track, Bad Liar, for example. I'm a bad liar, bad liar. It's so corny. And they make songs as if they're making songs for 10-year-olds. And we also have tracks like Digital. So bad. The band tries to sound edgy and dull with the break beats. It's 2018 and they're making break beats, really? And they're screaming through almost most of the lyrics and the choruses of all the songs here. It's super annoying, super obnoxious, and I don't want to hear songs like this ever again. But it gets worse. It gets worse. Number 3, The Sunset Tapes. A cool tape story. A cool tape story by Jaden Smith. What's so cool about this tape story, dude? What's so cool about it? This is the kind of mixtape that makes you question your decision, your taste in music after you listen to it, because it's low effort as fuck, okay? It's like Jaden Smith is not even trying to make good music. He's just putting together some beats, some melodies, and he's just basically crooning on top. Produced, mixed, and mastered in a day. Yeah, I also gave a review on this mixtape. Go check it out. But it's another one of those mixtapes where it's a barren wasteland and none of the songs here sound like it matters. It's like Jaden Smith gave up on life and he's not making good music. He's not trying anymore. On his last studio album, Sire, at least he's being ambitious. But on this mixtape, he's not ambitious at all. When you're listening to it, you can literally tell that Jaden Smith has no intention to make us good music, because on this mixtape, he's basically putting together some noise, and that's all he's doing. At number 2, I made a full-length review on this album, and boy, it sucks. Lil Yachty, Nuthin to Prove. Yeah, the album really lives up to its title, because Lil Yachty literally sounds like he has nothing to prove on this album. Wow. I mean, it's like Jaden Smith's mixtape, but it's even more hideous. It's even more minimalistic. If there's one thing that Jaden Smith's mixtape is better than Lil Yachty at, is the sound palette. Maybe Jaden Smith's mixtape sounds a little more rich than Lil Yachty's Nothing to Prove, because the album is so low effort. The beats and the instrumentals are so skeletal. They are so stripped back. It's ridiculous. They sound like demos, and they don't even sound like a song. They are so half-assed and ill-conceived, and Lil Yachty sounds more dumb than ever. I'm the Mac, I'm the Mac. I'm the Mac, I'm the Mac. Literally sounds like being a retard. And nothing against mentally ill people and people suffering from cerebral palsy and all, but seriously, this song, I'm the Mac, and Riley from the Boondocks sound like being mentally retarded. And there are also other songs on this album that's just so uninspired and so drab, and the auto-tune totally bogs it all down and make it super unpleasant. And it's ranked higher on the list because not only is it uninspired and drab, it's also very, very minimal. It's like Lil Yachty doesn't even want to make music, and he's just phoning it in because he wants to make some money. That's all he wants to do. He's not trying to make some good music. He just wants money. And I think you know what my number one spot is. I think you do. Lil Xan, Total Xanarchy. I've kept on listening to this trash-ass album. And the more I listen to it, the more it sucks. And it just went from a light 3 to a strong 1. Or maybe a decent 1. This album really sucks. Really, really sucks. It's like all my critiques for all the rap albums that I've mentioned in the video, but all of them added up together and amplified 20 times. That is Total Xanarchy. I mean, I don't know what he's trying to do. He literally called Tupac bad. He literally called Tupac boring. And he came out one of the shittiest albums I've heard in the decade. Wow. Lil Xan, wow. Talking about overdosing on hot Cheetos here. Not only are the beats and the instrumentals super low effort, super minimal, stripped back, super forgettable, and unpleasant, redundant, annoying, obnoxious. Lil Xan's performance here is both brain dead and bland and uninspired. That's actually 3 things. Yeah. Wow, is it bad? I mean, go listen to it. Go listen to it. I really don't understand why some people would enjoy this kind of music. To me, this album basically sounds like a white kid from the suburbs trying to act cool and, go with the trend. So he put on all these face tattoos and rap about like money and sex and friends and drugs. Like, I'm so cool. But the end result is ridiculously bad because the main reason is that he sounds brain dead. It sounds like he is not even human. He's a vegetable. And I'm gonna do an impression on him because it just really sucks. He sounds like, I'm Lil Xan. Xans don't make Lil Xan. Xan. He literally sounds like that for the entirety of the fucking album. It sounds like a door creaking. It's that bad. It's that unpleasant. Wow. The only track that I find somewhat tolerable if you're in a good mood is that Diplo track, Colorblind. And all the other tracks suck ass. All the other tracks are terrible. Plain terrible. They are either a 0 out of 10 or 1 out of 10 if I'm being generous. Because this album is truly, truly bad. And the lyrics on this thing, they are so corny. They are so repetitive and mindless. And I don't know, are they written in like 6 minutes or something? That song, Betrayed, like, oh wow, I got betrayed by my friends. And that other song where he's just bragging about taking Xanaxes, and that intro song where he's like, Xans don't make me, Xan, but your name is literally Lil Xan. Yeah, he's dumb. He's dumb. I mean, just look at the album cover. It's like he spat water out or something. It's like he can't even drink water now. I don't know, but wow. It sucks. So, what's your least favorite album of the year? Comment below, and please subscribe. Seriously, please subscribe, and thanks for watching, as always. Look, I respect all these artists, okay, and I wish them all love and happiness, like all other human beings on Earth, but damn, the music they're making really, really sucks. Really sucks.